Hi, everybody. Sometimes we need just something to do that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So that's what I'm doing here. If you see this piece of fabric, it's just a piece of scrap of fabric, and it's got flowers on it. And here, this one here, I just covered the flower up with wool, roving, doing some some needle felting. And so I did like that one flower here on this piece of fabric. I did this flower, and then here was some leaves, and I did some leaves. Looks more like a cactus now. And so but I thought, well, sometimes when you're just not feeling it or something, I don't know what you'd call it, but this one here, I started here, and I started with this red in the center, darker color in the center. Then I went out and out. Then I went in. So what I want to do is I want to do this one now. I'm gonna start this one a little bit differently. I'm going to and see, this is just a cotton fabric, and this is wool roving, and this is a punch. It's a needle felting tool, and so this one's got 3 needles in it. And then I just took out like a strip of wool felt, of a wool roving, and I'm just going to go around kind of the color. I'm sticking with the same color, although I wouldn't have to do that. I could change the color completely and make it into a different color, but stay with the same pattern. And so I'm just like, get it in there, and then kind of turn it along with the shape. And this is kind of like poking. This is nowhere near what needle felting is, but it's what needle felting can be. And so if you go to needle felting, if you want to know real stories of needle felting, you have to go to somebody else. But this is what needle felting can be if you just let your imagination run wild. And so see there how I've got, well, it's come loose here. I didn't have that real tight. I just get it sort of at first. You can even do it with just a single needle, just to get it sort of started. Oop, I wanted it to go farther down there. But you can, something like this that you really kind of just follow your heart or your nose or something, is, to me, very, very soothing and comforting. And sometimes we need to comfort ourselves. You just sometimes don't realize it, maybe. But see, now I've got that around there. Let's see, I've got another little piece here. This is a little too thick, so I'm going to pull it apart. And now I've got another strip. And like I say, this is just my thing. It doesn't have to be. There's a lot of art and craft that you can do your way. You don't have to do it the right way. And sometime yesterday I was watching, or day before, I was watching a video of a young lady that was, she wanted to do slow stitching, but she said she just couldn't get it. She just couldn't get it, and she's reading the books about slow stitching, and I'm yelling at the screen. I'm saying, we need to throw them books away. And just, which I'm a bookaholic. I got books on everything to do with crafts and arts. So I like to see how other people do things. But that's when you can learn what can be done. So when I'm learning about needle felting, I'm learning basically what can be done with that felt, with that wool roving, and then I just go with that. I say, oh, well, that's what you can do. Well, if you can do that, then maybe we can do this. And so one thing I do a lot of is just I have just fiber art, and then I just keep a book. I keep a book that I keep different fiber art things in. Papa, are you still in here? Where'd he go? I lost my husband. He's my helper. Okay, now see, I just went around with that color, and now, then here's a lighter color. There's a little black in there. I mean, it's not a lighter color. This is the lighter color. I did the lightest color pink. Now it's a little darker color pink. And so I'm going to go now inside there, sort of like the flower is, you know. I'm keeping up with how this flower is done on the fabric. And if you've got scrap fabric around, then look through your fabric and see what kind of design might be on the fabric. Like if you look even in the center of this, there's no, the flowers are here, but then the center is just got a pattern. You could do some wool felting just along the pattern that you see. And then maybe in the center of each one, sew a button or put a couple of French knots or something. It just whatever comes to your thoughts while you're in the midst. And and just whatever comes to mind, which like for me, I do a lot of different things. So I've got a lot of supplies around because I do so many different things. And see, that's got a little bit of black in it. So that's kind of cool because I'm adding that little bit of black in there, which gives it a little bit more dimension or a little bit more design. And there is a lot of yarns too. You don't have to have wool roving to do this. There's a lot of different yarn that has fibers in it that can be punched, that can be put into a project. Because what I'm doing here, see these needles on here have barbs on them. So then as you punch, as you poke, it's putting some of the fibers through the substrate. Like the substrate for this is the fabric. And so, and I'm working on a woolen mat. This is a mat that is made for wool felting, and so it's stuck to it right now, so I got to pull it, and I'm pulling them fibers out of the mat. But see, you can then feel on the back, you can see kind of on the back how those fibers have come through. And so this is not exactly what you would learn about wool felting if you were taking a class. This is just something different. It's just using the same thing, but now here I've got a bunch of red. I ordered, no, I don't have my box right here. Oh yes, I do. There it is. I ordered, I wanted some different colors of wool, so I ordered this box, which comes with a whole bunch of different colors. However many you can see there. Well, a little bit more than that because I've taken some out. But this is a piece, and this is about 11 inches long right here. And that's what you would get. That's what one of these packages have in it. So that's what you get in a package. But that gives you just enough, so you don't have to buy a whole bunch. But and then just pull off a bit of it like this. Just pull off a bit. And then, so now I'm going to put the red inside. I think starting on the outside and going to the inside is working out a little better for me here. But and like, I'm not saying exactly, I'm not sticking exactly to what the flower looks like, but I'm sticking sort of to what the flower looks like. And just following that pattern by just directing this strand of wool roving. And then you do have to have the needle with the barbs on it to be able to do something like this. And you do need to have some kind of a mat to use. Don't try doing it on your leg. Okay, now see, now I went with the light pink, a little bit darker, and then this is kind of a red right in here. Okay, now I have this here one. This one's got 5. Yeah, this one's got 5 needles on it. And now I'm just kind of going over it to get them all kind of put in there good. Then we have some blue in the middle. Some blue in the middle. I did some blue in the middle here. So then I will, in my bag, in my little bag here, I've got, well, that's not supposed to be in there. But then there's a lot of things in this house that aren't supposed to be where they are. Well, so I'm going to take some of this blue. Now, this was a different type of, I mean, it's still wool roving, but I bought it, this stuff come in a wad like that. Just a wad. And, so I'm going to take some of this blue. Now I'm going to use my my holder. It's a needle felting tool as well, but this is something that you can use, because now I'm getting into a small spot here, and I do not want to do my fingers. I don't want to poke my fingers. I'm just going to make that into a little circle here. I'm going to hold it though with my tool, and then I'll get my needle and get that poked in there. So, but then I want some pink in the center, so I'll take, let's see, I think I'm going to take all this much. No, I won't. That's too much. That'll cover up my blue. I don't want to cover up my blue. Let me get a smaller piece. This is just so soft. It's just such a soothing something to play with. Something, and that's what you're doing. You're just playing with it. Okay, now, what I like about this here tool is I can hold that whole thing down with that tool, and then I can put this down in there with the needles, and my fingers are nowhere near it. So then I have, there we go. And then I want to put, and so see, like here it's got a whole lot of spots. I'm not going to do those whole lot of spots. I'm just going to do one little spot in the middle. I'll just get that all rolled up into a little chunk. Hold it in the middle with my special magic fingerless tool here, and get that down in there.
Did Jennifer and the kid come tell you bye?
No, not yet.
Oh, they left already. I thought they did.
Oh, well, they might have already. Okay, Papa, do you see over, oh yeah, handy that, right, that book. It doesn't look like a book. It looks like a doily. Yes, hand me that thing. Thank you, sweet child. You are my honey bunny.
I am your honey.
Okay,
Honey bunny.
and so now I'll pull that off of there. And that might be as far as I go with the felt, with the wool. But with this piece, I plan to do these flowers, all the flowers. Maybe I'll cut around this, I don't know. But then I'm going to do some stitching. I'm going to use some, probably not this one, but I'll probably use some of a contrasting color and just do some stitching over the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll just stay in these separate pieces. Maybe I won't go over these. Maybe I'll just do like that. I don't know. But, and then what will I do with this when I'm finished with it? That's the thing that I don't know. So I got my I don't know book right here. This is my sort of like a I don't know book. I don't know what it is. I made it into a pillow. I got it tied on the edges. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can do my thing here. No, I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. Oh, that's all the farther to go. Okay. But anyhow, this is my pillow book. This is my slow stitching. Just put that up there. I got it tied. I got 3 ties here, tied in a bow. That ties it's like a junk journal, but you make it all out of fabric. And I started, this is this here piece is an old placemat, and I just loved that placemat. I found it at a thrift shop, and I just love it because it just looks so old. And that's what I started on the cover. Well, it's been used so much now that it probably needs washed. But I'm not going to wash it. It's just going to get used. And so, but then I have pages in here, different pages that I've just added things onto the fabric pages, and some of these I don't remember when or where or why I did them, and just different things, and I just put them in. Okay, see, so I have a page here, and I might take this when it's finished, and maybe I'll just tack it in there. Some of my things, all I did was just safety pinned them on the corners, and they're in. And here's one here. Oh, that's the back. Oh, this one here. I like this one. Oh, this one I painted first. I went on and I just painted some things on here. And then after I painted these things, then I went over them with embroidery floss. And there's a lot of French knots in here, but I think that's the only real embroidery stitch that I did. All the rest of them are just slow stitching. And slow stitching is just whatever stitches don't have a name. And then here I did this one, like the love on there. That's couched on there, on that piece, and I put that on that page. And here's a young lady I did with a doily. That's a piece of a doily for her skirt. There's a little, just little pieces. There's a little slow yo-yo, and just whatever comes to mind at the time. There I got some machine stitching around here, but to have it on here, oh, I stitched it across the top, and the bottoms I just have a safety pin holding that on there. And then this page I put a pocket on here. The way I put the pocket was I just have a piece of lace, and then I couched on this piece of sari rope, and I made a pocket, and so it's just stitched on there. And then I have this little piece of fabric that had what's her name? I forget her name now. Dora the Explorer. Okay, and I just fixed her up with a few things, and she just fits in that pocket then. She just lives right there in that pocket. And then turn the page. What do we have? Stuck. Oh, darn. Okay, it's no big deal. Some of my paper beads, they stick because of the stuff I put on them. But that's okay if they're stuck. And then a little flower. And then this was a piece of felt, and I wrote believe on there with just threads. And nothing that is like perfect or anything. I can't even say that it's embroidery, because it's not. It's just slow stitching. And then here I've got another Dora the Explorer, and here she's just pinned on with safety pins. I could, to fancy it up again, I could wrap like a ribbon around them or something. And here I've got some yo-yos on here and some little flowers. And she's stuffed. Once I stitched around her, then in the back, I wonder if I can still see that. No, oh yeah, oh no, it's stitched there. But anyway, then in the back, I just cut it a little bit, the fabric on the back, and then put some stuffing in there so she's puffed up. She's all puffed up. And she's just on there with some safety pins to hold her so she won't fall out of the book. This one here it's got like houses. And this one, I've spent more time on this one, making the little houses, putting buttons on for the doorknobs, and then there's some flower, and it's safety pinned in there too. I thought maybe one day I might stitch it actually in the page, but no, I haven't yet. This one here, well, is sideways, but then there's a house, and then a tree, and it's just all couched on there. And I love couching. I think couching things on here, and just a bunch of different yarns that I put together and then couched them on to make the little tree. Oh, this one here, I made a flower, and I double-sided it, so there's a flower on both sides. And so I put that in where it'll flip. This was a real pretty piece of like an applique. I think I got 2 different pieces of this in here. It was bigger than this, so I took off some and put it on this page, and I got some more on another page. But then this one here is, well, there's different things behind here. And just a lot of just borrow stitching, or back and forth, in and out stitch, you know, just such a simple stitch. And then some yo-yos and buttons, and there's some lace behind there. Oh, I must have stitched that on there, but then I still have that page there that I can add something to that. Oh, maybe I plan to put this on there. Yeah, this is a piece of felt, and then I added these. What you looking for, honey? You looking for something?
Book I was reading.
Oh, your book you were reading. Okay. Now here I've got different laces on here. This was a piece of a doily, a piece of a doily, a piece of lace, a ribbon. I mean, that's not a ribbon, it's a button. And just different pieces of things. But then I stitched it all on with that purple embroidery floss. And so I guess that's supposed to live right there. It's just not stuck yet. And then here, this was a lot of selvage edges, and I just stitched them together on the sewing machine, I think, first, or maybe I didn't put them on the sewing. Oh, I just put them all together, but then I stitched them this way using the sewing machine, and then I flipped it over the page, so some's on this side, some's on this side, and then I just hand stitched it onto the page. This one here, that's another piece of wool felt here, and I had a bird. I just cut that out of a piece of fabric, and different pieces of fabric. This is a piece of just gathered up fabric, a button, couple buttons, the word inspire. I like to just make my words out of fabric with stamps, and I just put a word, and so that's going to live right there. Maybe one day I'll stitch it in, maybe not. Okay, then here we go. Oh, this was fun too. Some more Dora the Explorer. I must have had a larger piece of her fabric. And these are mostly childlike fabrics that I have around here, and it's just patched worked in there, along with some yo-yos. And then these are little flower buttons. These are buttons, but they're in a flower. Another little princess girl, and oh, that was some of the what is that bear? Berenstain Bear? No, a different bear. But then on this side we got the Cat in the Hat in there. Here I just put some colorful fabrics, and more this day my inner child was in charge. My inner child was in charge on this day, and when I did that. And then here's another. Oh, this is another piece of that wool. Somebody had sent me this wool. It's actual wool felt. And so I was so excited to have some real wool felt, because most of my felt is just the polyester or whatever they make it out of. But this was real wool, and so that was nice. I think I remember who sent it to me, but I'm not positive. I think it was Carmen. And then here I have the word believe, and again I just stamp them, just stamp the words. So if you've got stamps and you've got some ink, and even if it's just the regular ink, if it's not the Stays On or something, you're probably not going to wash it anyway, so it'll stay. And so then here I just put some pieces of fabric down. This is a covered ring, like you're starting a Dorset button, that's what that is. And there's some fabric buttons, burlap butterflies there, and that's going to live on that page. This one again was a piece of that wool. A lot of these in here are a piece of that wool felting. And here, when I did the stitching, I mean, I just put a couple pieces of fabric. I put the word love and sewed it on with some buttons. And then I did the borrow stitching, but instead of using threads, I used, this is what they call, some people call it ladder lace, and some people call it trellis lace. But it's a yarn fixative. And so, but I thought that looks pretty on there. So that one lives there. Oh, I got a lot of these that aren't sewn in. And this, again, the same thing, a piece of that, that wool felt. And again, pretty much the same thing. Here I've got some sari silks. And I just kind of, as I was stitching them on, I just kind of bunched them up and stitched them. Just bunched them and stitched them. And it came out with this flower, and I put a button in the center just to make a center. And then this was already a piece of some vintage fabric. It probably come off of like a dish towel or something. And just a piece of that, I put that there. So this brown that you see, that was already on there. That was, it looks like it was probably like a vase with flowers. And I put that in there, just another piece of fabric. There's another little piece of a vintage old, like a crocheted piece. I put that in there, and then just put it all together with this borrow stitch. You could see in the back how it's all that's holding that together. This page, this is fun. That's inside the back of the book. But this here was a piece of fabric that had like, it was like almost embossed. All of these vines and flowers were raised, but it was all white. Every bit was white. So I took different colors of embroidery floss then, or it might have not even, nope, this wasn't even embroidery floss. This was crochet cotton I used that you buy in a ball. And it was all of, the whole thing was a, like a variegated colors. And so I just took that and I just, now I don't remember what you call that stitch that I did that with. But it's just like a running stitch, but it's like a back stitch. And I went all around. Every bit of that embossed part, I went around with this thread. And this is what it turned out. And it looked so pretty. Well, I got a pocket there. I don't have anything in the pocket. I guess that's a good place I could hide my $100 bills. Nobody would find them. But see, that's what I do with my little pieces that really have no place to live. And so when I finish this to whatever it comes out at, because I don't know what it'll be when it's finished. I don't have a flippin' clue. But it'll probably go in this book, but I think I've got 3 or 4 of these kind of books that are just filled with things that things that I've made that really don't have a title or a real use. Their use is to just be pretty. And it's sort of like the mind-body connection, if you understand the mind-body connection. The things that I do mostly are things that have to do with the mind-body connection. It's not that I'm trying to create a work of art that I'm going to sell at some fancy art sale or bring to the World's Fair to have it judged. No, I'm not going to do that. That's not what I do. What I do is for myself. It's for myself. And so that's what I wanted to show you that. And like I got this here basket of dolls. That's still mind-body connection. You see, do I have the one I did yesterday? Yesterday I had, where'd she go? Oh, here she is. She fell out of the basket. But yesterday I had my friends over. I had Lala Gamma, Lori Lee, Lala Gamma, and her daughter Tori. They came over, and well, when I have somebody that comes over, I always figure out before they come is we're going to do some kind of a craft, because I can't just sit there and waggle my tongue. I have to have something to do. So we sat there and we made dolls while we talked about, the world crisis and whatever needed to be talked about. Now, this little girl isn't done, but this is the style of doll that we all three made. And mine isn't finished. I want to take these beads where I started the beads around the hem of her dress here, and I'm going to put some more around the bottom layer too. And she's still going to get more here, and I want to put her hands sort of together, holding something like a heart or something. And I might put a face on her, but I may not. Most of my dolls I do put a face on. This one hasn't got a face. Tori put a face on hers. And even though we started these exactly the same, I showed them how we're going to make the body, and then I just had a collection of things so that they could take things and just decorate their children up just however they wanted. And all three of ours turned out so different. And so even though I started the same, like Lori's, her body turned out really plump. She had a plump body. And because that's just how hers turned out. And so they just, and you don't even have to put stuffing. We put stuffing in, but you can make these kind of dolls with stuffing. I'm gonna make a video real soon about how I constructed this doll, and how I put her hair on and that kind of thing. And so that'll be fun to do. And so I got to work on her probably today. And I want you to see my mouse pad. Do you see my mouse pad? If you and if any of you are like my age, I'm 74, but in the day there was a song that was called "Standing on the Corner" in Winslow, Arizona, by the Eagles. And my son, who lives in Arizona, he took his family on just a little adventure, and they went to Winslow, Arizona. What was so fun about this was while they were there in Arizona, and in Winslow, Arizona, you can see where it says right here, he had me on the phone, on the FaceTiming. And so I was walking around with them all through and it's just a corner. This here, where it says Arizona US 66, because it's Route 66, that's painted right in the center of the intersection. This is on the ground. And here you can see where even the, it's an old brick cobblestone street. But I went in with him. I went in with the, into the gift shop, and I saw this mouse pad. I said, oh, I have to have that. So he bought it and he sent it to me, and sent Papa a ink pen. That's a neat ink pen. It's a big and fat one, and it also has the same thing. But this truck was there, so I would say, oh, take pictures of the kids in front of the truck. And then this here was just like a statue. These are two statues here. And so I said, oh, get a picture of the kids next to the statues. And so whatever I'd say for him to take a picture of, then they did that. And so it was so much fun. I felt like I was right there with them. But it's about 100 miles from where they live in Arizona. But they went over there to buy some chickens. There was a good deal on some chickens, and they needed chickens on their farm. So they went to go buy those chickens in Winslow, Arizona, and made an adventure out of it. So they got the chickens, and then they spent the rest of the day just standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. And I'm just happy to have this here mouse pad. I don't really need a mouse pad because you don't hardly really need mouse pads anymore. But I have this one and I just love it. And so, and that's standing on the corner of Winslow in Winslow, Arizona. But there's just so much to see just on that corner. And going through that gift shop, that was fun. He goes, "Do you want this?" I said, "No, I don't want that." "Do you want it?" "No, I don't want that. I just send me that. Just the mouse pad. That's all I want." And so he did. He sent me that. And so anyhow, that's kind of a little update on my life right now. I'm going to work on this some more. I'm going to work on this one some more. And these ones will then, I'll probably do this flower in a whole different color. I don't think I want to do it in this one. I did like a black and silver. This one here, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something different with that one. And so yeah, then, okay, so I want to read something. This here poem is called The Weaver. I've been watching, oh my gosh, you know what? Okay, I'm running my mouth too much. But I was watching a video, and it had to do with Finnish rag rug making. And I'm half Finnish. My father was Finnish, and so I'm half Finished. But anyway, I lived in a Finnish neighborhood up my first 14 years of life in northern Minnesota, little town called Esko, and it was a lot of Finlanders, just a whole Finnish people. My grandmother did not do the weaving, but there was somebody with the big weaving looms in our family, and so that was, her name was Aunt Hilda. Was it Hilda? God, I'm getting terrible. And she had the big weaving looms. So the family would use her loom when they wanted to weave something. My grandmother was more of a braided rug maker. She would make the braided rugs. And a lot of her rugs were made out of just old nylon stockings, or, just the stockings. And they would braid together and she'd make rugs. But I often wonder, I think about what all I missed by not being raised in the Finnish community, because there is so much that the Finnish do. They don't buy a loaf of bread. They don't buy a loaf of bread. Finnish people, they make all of their bread, or they did back then, and so I would say that was in the 50s, and so. And then I heard, even on this video, they were talking about Saturday night saunas. And we had our Saturday night saunas. The farmhouse had the sauna in the basement. And so Uncle Emo would go in there and he would fire up the sauna. Sauna is a Finnish word for steam bath. And so he'd fire up the sauna and get it nice and hot and get the steam going, because there was a fire. There was a fire down low outside of the sauna, and then inside the sauna in the corner, then there was a metal, like a container, and it would be filled with these big rocks. And so what would happen then is Uncle Emo would make the fire underneath these rocks, and then pour water on the rocks, go inside the sauna, put the water on the rocks, and the steam, it would fill with steam that way. And then he would keep the fire going from outside the sauna, which it was in the furnace room in the basement. And so, but just watching this video and hearing about the different Finnish traditions and things, now some people, we hear about people having, they say sauna. Now they say sauna, but they're not pronouncing it right. It's a sauna, and you got to get the ow in there, sauna. But anyway, the one weaver that I was watching on there, she said that she had this poem thumbtacked to her the big, huge weaving machines. I do some weaving, but it's about this big. I've never made anything bigger than a placemat. But boy, to have one of them big weaving machines that you just use fabrics, scrap fabrics, and make rag rugs, oh my gosh. I could have lived that life and been so happy. But I'm happy now, so I'm glad my life did turn out to be way it is but I often wonder what it would have been like if I did get to live that life. But anyhow, this is what I'm going to read today. I just done one too long in my video, but this is called The Weaver. But now you think about weaving. Life is woven. Life is just woven. So it's doesn't have to be a rug. Okay, The Weaver. My life is but a weaving between my God and me. I do not choose the colors. He worketh steadily. Oft times he weaveth sorrow, and I, in foolish pride, forget he sees the upper, and I the underside. Not till the loom is silent, and shuttles cease to fly, will God unroll the canvas and explain the reason why. The dark threads are as needful in the skillful weaver's hand as the threads of gold and silver in the pattern he has planned. When she read that, I said, oh, I've got to find that poem, and I want to write that. I want to print it out, and I did. I love this. When you think about life, when you think about your life, when the canvas is unrolled, and then you can see why there's black threads in there. Sometimes you'll see some black threads in there, but then you'll also see threads of gold and silver in the pattern he has planned. I love this. Okay, I love this. I will keep that poem and read it and be reminded of it. And I thank you all for watching. I'm sorry, gosh, 47 minutes here, almost an hour. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to continue on with my mind-body connection and doing my whatever comes to my mind right here. And I'll be adding these to my book, or one of my books, probably this one. And I ask God to watch over you every step you take, every move you make. Keep you safe and keep you happy and healthy and humble. And I will see you on the next video. I've got to use my mouse pad so I can go ahead and put this on off. God bless and keep you all. God's peace. Thank you.